Today we are going to talk just for a moment about the merits of Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra. It might take 2 classes in total specifically, one today and one tomorrow. Why are we discussing the merits of Guru Rinpoche? Recently, Khenpo Sodargye gave a teaching to the lamas and nuns here about the profound merits of Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra. Many people from a wide range of backgrounds and experiences have expressed a sincere desire to recite it 100,000 times. For these individuals, this is not just a simple wish, but a meaningful goal that, so let me think, this perhaps many people here have also in some way or another learned a bit about it. In this way, it's clear that everyone truly wants to recite it. Then I thought, should I perhaps also translate it as well? Because just a couple of days ago, we kindly requested Khenpo to teach on this topic. Should we also recite it? And when I was preparing to translate, I realized many of the words in it seemed very familiar. Later, I remembered that I had actually, in fact, translated it myself more than 10 years ago. Back in 2009, I had already translated it. At that particular moment in time, as I recall, it very much appeared that we were actually discussing the commentary on the 7-line prayer, White Lotus. Afterwards, this translation, after being translated, it was never actually taught in practice to students until now. So I don't need to translate it again at all. Then I thought I would just talk a little bit more to everyone about it during the course of the next couple of days. Let's discuss later. If anyone wishes to make a vow, you can do so now as well. It's generally fine to keep track of it in each class. As for the timing, the deadline is at His Holiness's Parinirvana memorial ceremony. At that time, when they did the dedication, this was how they did it. I think people reciting mantras here are a bit different from the lamas and the nuns. Some people recite a bit more slowly, but in any case, everyone should simply recite it 10,000 times. Of course, reciting it 100,000 times would be even better. This can be done at that time with many platforms. Now, there's a lot being said from all sides, which is real or fake. Not easy to say. So maybe it's best to focus on each tea room as the main unit. Now, everyone can easily keep track of it at any time. And later you can also dedicate the merit. This is, in fact, the situation as it currently stands. I'll talk about the benefits of the Guru Rinpoche heart mantra. It is still very necessary. In this degenerate and turbulent age, sentient beings are deeply afflicted, and the elements of earth, water, fire, and wind, natural disasters and human calamities occur frequently. At a time we pray to Guru Rinpoche, the embodiment of all the Buddhas of the 3 times, and beseech him to bless all the beings in this world, these pitiable sentient beings. This is truly a time when such blessings are greatly needed. So I think this time I will also give everyone 2 straightforward and easy to understand lessons explained clearly. First, let me talk about the merits and commentary of Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra. 2 aspects. One is the merit, and the other is the commentary below. Guru Rinpoche heart will be explained one by one in detail, discussing its merits, and then I will explain its commentary. So what are its merits? Explain how Aham Benza Geribanma. This will be explained below. I think we won't discuss this topic in a broad sense, at least not at this time. This text, it is actually a Dharma, which is known as a hidden treasure teaching of Guru Padmasambhava. Speaking of Guru Padmasambhava, he is not unfamiliar to anyone. Guru Padmasambhava is not just some mythical figure or perhaps a legendary master known throughout many stories for their remarkable skills and mysterious. That is really not the case in our human history. He truly appeared a truly remarkable and highly respected mystic, known for profound spiritual insight and wisdom. Because in this day and age, some people also make slanderous remarks. Guru Rinpoche is a myth, or that his termers are somehow unreasonable, and there are indeed some genuinely mistaken views like this. But in reality, when we take a moment to thoughtfully look back and reflect on the long and complex journey of human history, indeed it is come to Tibet. Although historical records differ not just for Guru, but also for Shakyamuni Buddha and for most of the world's great figures, their births and final parinirvana, there are always different historical accounts. It's actually the same with Guru Padmasambhava. The generally accepted view is that it was around the middle of the 8th century. That is to say, he and the master Shantarakshita, indeed, Shantarakshita came to Tibet first. At that time, the forces of demons in Tibet were rampant, and he was unable to spread the true Dharma. So he suggested inviting Guru Padmasambhava to Tibet, subduing spirits, and lay the foundation for Buddhism and gradually promote flourishing. After that, Guru Padmasambhava came to Tibet. As for the time of his arrival, Shantarakshita arrived in 763 AD. So, by inference, some other historic records state that 7 years after Master Jingming arrived in the region of Tibet, Guru Padmasambhava arrived. Moreover, some historical accounts indeed say that in 771 AD, the Buddhist-Bonian dispute, there were some debates between Buddhism and Bon. At that time, Guru Padmasambhava had already entered Tibet. We deduce this Guru Padmasambhava should be arrived in Tibet in 770 AD. Regarding this point, the most important source is the Sumpa Buddhist history. The Sumpa history of Buddhism is a reliable record in Tibet, and also a very famous one. When I was studying in Gaz, which is a beautiful and unique place, I also went ahead and bought a copy of it myself. The author is Sumpa Yeshe Paljor. The Sumpa history of Buddhism records in his work regarding the time when Guru Padmasambhava entered Tibet, how many years he later stayed in Tibet. There are also several different types of accounts as well, each with its own characteristics. Universal, he stayed in Tibet for 56 years. Of course, there are few exceptions, including Jonang masters. Some say 8 months, some say it was 111 years. Various accounts. What is accepted by historians is that Guru Padmasambhava stayed in Tibet for 56 years. Moreover, in Tibet Weather and in New Tang, Amdo or Kham at various sacred mountains, he concealed many different Dharma treasures, subdued spirits and demons, and established the foundations, and including the construction of the ancient and revered Samye monastery and the ordination of the first 7 monks. From that time onward, Tibet entered truly, absolutely glorious period in its history. The main foundation is actually very closely related to Guru Padmasambhava. No matter how you look at it, if Guru Padmasambhava had not come to Tibet back then, the flourishing of these Vajrayana, which have spread from Tibet to all corners of the world, would have been absolutely, completely impossible. Even regarding his subjugation of various spirits and demons at that time, historians, Padmasambhava came to Tibet. He first had a special route focused mainly on subduing spirits and demons. He started from the area of Yamdrok Lake, where there were many spirits, and realizing Mahamudra, he used the Vajra Furba to subdue them. Along the way, including the mountain deity of Mount Tangra Yashu. Very impressive. Guru Padmasambhava journeying deliberately provoked the mountain deity of Tangra Yashu by stewing mutton. After it was cooked, he kicked it over with his foot, spilling it onto the fire. At that moment, a foul, unpleasant stench filled the air. Generally speaking, earth deities are easily animal skin and meat, especially the burnt stench after roasting. They particularly dislike it. It often angers the earth deities. Nowadays, when we talk about barbecuing BBQ, it is very easy to anger these earth and mountain deities. So in our Tibetan customs, for example, when you are boiling milk, if the milk suddenly boils over on the stove and spills into the stove fire, you must, without delay, immediately burn fresh juniper branches and then carefully recite Om Aham aloud, even if any kind of skin or meat, these words thrown into the fire. That kind of foul smell is disliked by earth deities and protectors. If someone did it on purpose, he will definitely be punished. Padmasambhava deliberately angered the deity of Tangla Yashu. Is Tangla Yashu father to Dakini Waisa? I think he is also a mountain deity, as I recall. At that time, he was extremely, almost uncontrollably angry, and then quite suddenly, all sorts of truly miraculous phenomena began to appear. Lightning, thunder. Guru Padmasambhava used Chik Mudra. This caused the snow-covered mountain on his mountain to start shaking and then collapse, sending snow and debris sliding down. Later on, they had no choice but to surrender, had to be subdued. There are many fascinating such stories. Whenever Guru Rinpoche arrived at a new place and encountered obstacles created for him, he'd subdue local deities, then became Dharma protectors. So these Dharma protectors, even up to now, Dharma, like many other local gods, they are truly different. Indeed, if you do not anger them, if you do not offend them, then they will definitely give their full support and protect the upholders of the Dharma. This is something everyone should be clear about. So today, what we are going to talk about is the sacred Dharma treasures of Guru Padmasambhava. Dharma treasures are in our Tibetan Buddhism in Naima teachings. There's what is called Kama and Dharma. The teachings of Tibetan Buddhism are usually based on the mind and illusion. These are the main transmissions of all the tantras. As for Dharma, generally after Guru Padmasambhava arrived in Tibet, hid treasures, which were later continuously revealed over time by many Tertons, treasure revealers in Tibetan Buddhism. Now, there is one called the Great Treasury of Dharma by Rinchen Terzo, which we often refer to as the Dharma Treasury sometimes. In this carefully curated collection, a 12th century Dharma master named Lama Sangye, some say Lama Sangye, while others say it was later, the 12th century Sangye Lama. Starting from that time, spanning from ancient times all the way up to around the 19th century, approaching Dharma master, known as Chokyur Deken Lingpa, who is also referred to as Deshen Lingpa. We have one at Domang Monastery, but that's not the one. It's the Deshen Lingpa from before this. Among them, the Dharma treasures of 100 Dharma masters were gathered together, 63 volumes. The main editor was Kongtrul Yuanten Gyatso, with Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo. They edited. So, generally speaking, the Dharma treasures that are widely recognized in the Great Treasure Dharma collection, of course, there are also many other Dharma treasures, Dharma masters. So the Dharmas of Guru Padmasambhava have flourished greatly in Tibet. Some monasteries, as many monasteries, have their own Dharma masters, some Dharma liturgy. For example, the great Yamantaka or Vajra Kilaya, for instance, various major ritual liturgies. Content we're discussing, it is actually by the great master, the renowned Tibetan teacher Karma Lingpa. Sometimes we write it as Lingpa, we say Langpa. Right now, perhaps other day in Vajrayana dictionary, we discussed using Langpa or Lingpa. In the future, we need to unify all of these, since in the past different terms were used. Karma Lingpa. Karma generally means activity, while Lingpa refers to a Dharma master. It is recognized there are 5 treasure revealers from the 5 directions. In the east, there is the renowned master Dorje Lingpa, South Rinchen Lingpa. In the west, Pema Lingpa. In the north, he is called Kama Lingpa. And in the center, Sangye Lingpa. 5 treasure revealers, 5 directions. Padmasambhava's biographies mention this, and all of them have prophecies. As for Kama Lingpa, the great treasure revealer, I think that we have, in fact, just seen that he's mentioned in the history of Tibetan esoteric Buddhism. Previously, we had 3 translators, Ga, Zhou, and Shang. Kava Pelzik, Shogro Lu Galsan, Zhang Yeshede. Among these 3, the reincarnation of Zhou Laye Gyatso, his reincarnation is Karma Langpa. Karma Langpa's father was a treasure revealer named Nida Sangye, also a treasure revealer. It is said that he lived to be 125 years old. Karma Lingpa revealed Dharma at age 15, a sacred mountain called Darlagampo. Some of our earlier teachings on Bardo, he slowly started revealing Dharma at the sacred site of Darlagampo. After that, he traveled to various places for a while, but later, due to his passing away, it seems that the Dansha Buddhist history does not mention this. However, in some other Buddhist histories, at that time when he was choosing a consort, simply wrong choice, wrong reason, was that the consort at some later point in collaboration with others poisoned him. Assassination can be said to be, as for Karma Lingpa, though he's a master, outward appearance, he later, due to the consort, didn't die in ideal conditions. But before this happened, he had already entrusted his Dharma teachings to his sole disciple named Nida Choki. He passed these Dharma teachings on to Nida Choki. He prophesied first 3 generations must be transmitted. After 3 generations, my Dharma teachings can be spread almost wherever space extends. Later, Nanka Choki Gyatso began propagating them. By the 3rd generation, the main Dharma teachings of Karma Lingpa, the peaceful and wrathful deities, the 6 bardos, and the Tibetan Book of the Dead, among others, originally came from the region of Khenpo in Tibet. Then these teachings of his spread to Amdo and Kham and were widely and vigorously propagated everywhere. Even now, this is still the case, especially the teachings on the Bardo, which were translated into English around 1911, are now also flourishing greatly in Western countries. When we visited in the past, we also saw the first version they translated at that time. The translation began in 1911. I've forgotten the exact year, just a little. You can still see it on display in that museum today, just as it has been for many years. So his teachings are certainly, indeed, very flourishing. Moreover, among all the Vajrayana teachings, the Dharma teachings of Karma Lingpa are relatively open. Especially for teachings like the Bardo, they are accessible to every liberation through hearing, called liberation through hearing. So in some of the sadhanas of the 100 peaceful and wrathful deities, it is already explained at the end. And it is quite easy. This is a teaching that anyone can listen to and receive. This time, what we are actually discussing can also be considered a brief Dharma text. It is about the merits of Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra and its commentary. Let's discuss what follows. I prostrate to the Guru Yidam and Dakinis, the woman Yeshe Tsogyal offer the outer, inner, and secret great mandala, each representing different aspects of the universe as a completely pure and sincere offering. Could you explain what the main role or purpose of Yeshe Tsogyal is in this context and why her presence is important? She's the supplicant, not for this teaching. We all know that many of Guru Rinpoche's teachings are just like those around Shakyamuni Buddha, such as Venerable Ananda. During her lifetime, she specifically requested a great many teachings. And when Guru Rinpoche finally left Tibet, many of his teachings write on yellow paper and print with blank lines, then hidden as termas in various sacred mountains and lakes, including some that were mysteriously sealed in the sky itself. So to us, it may seem as if Yeshe Tsogyal was, in truth, just an entirely ordinary woman. If you look at her biography at first glance, she is a housewife. There's no difference. In reality, she was extraordinary. This is something we, as later generations, can also see. Moreover, the biography of Dakini Yeshe Tsogyal, Westerners are very confident. Many Western women, both practitioners and non-practitioners, find a kind of inner strength and hope through her, including a sense of positive energy based on the biography of Dakini Yeshe Tsogyal and her deeds. Indeed, more than 1,000 years ago, even though in Tibet at that time, as in the rest of the world, gender inequality was pronounced. But in Tibet at that time, someone with wisdom, capability, and such extraordinary merit. Many women also find this very interesting and have been exploring it. When we visit some schools, we often encounter Dakini Yeshe Tsogyal experts, as well as some scholars who have contributed to the field. Some women even feel that relying on the Eastern Dakini Yeshe Tsogyal, her philosophy and her noble spirit should provide many women in the West embarking on a new and thoughtful path of reflection, one that encourages deeper understanding and kinds of praise. So, from our current perspective, Dakini Yeshe Tsogyal raised all kinds of questions before Guru Rinpoche, many different questions. Her questions were sharp and very targeted. As a result, her request for teachings brought tremendous benefit. In fact, whether we look at it from a worldly perspective, sometimes in front of a master, on Guru Padmasambhava, most people who came after him simply cannot compare. If we don't talk about him, well, generally speaking, whether it's some great masters or some teachers, the questions often raised by people around them, requests for teachings from some, have left behind many extremely precious teachings for future generation. Dakini Yeshe Tsogyal said, as for external offerings, external means outer mandala offerings. As for the inner mandala, it refers to the body mandala. When it comes to the secret mandala, it means offering the mandala of great bliss and wisdom, or externally, it is simply the body, internal language, and secretly, it is the mandala of the mind. We call this the three kayas mandala. In the Gundro of the Nyingtik, there is also the three kayas mandala. At that time, to Guru Padmasambhava, after she making this kind of special mandala offering, Chenbai said this. So, wondrous Guru Padmasambhava brought benefit to Tibetans, both in this life and in future lives as well. This is indeed true mainly for us Tibetans, because Guru Padmasambhava went to Mount Utai and found hidden treasures in many places, discussing Tibet's sentient beings, the many benefits he brought in this life. He also gave the audience bringing them benefit and bringing even greater benefit to their future lives, truly. As for these acts of kindness, no one with greater kindness and virtue than you never appeared before, nor will anyone appear in the future. I think what she said is absolutely, truly, and undoubtedly right. Because at that time he subdued those spirits and demons and spread the true Dharma, establishing the precedent for the study, contemplation, and practice of Vajrayana Buddhism. In this way, indeed, up to now, it has been about 300 years. In the entire history of Tibet, such a figure has never appeared either. Yeshe Tsogyal saw this. That's very true. Although we had great masters like Tsongkhapa, the Venerable Vimalamitra, as well as the 5 highly respected and renowned founding masters of the great Sakya tradition, Jonang masters, as well as Milarepa Marpa and Lotsawa, among others. Many great masters have appeared in Tibet over the centuries. Someone, Guru Padmasambhava, with such extraordinary power, it has never appeared. Back then, Master Shantarakshita was truly at a loss, wanted to establish Samya Monastery. During the day, people came to build, and at night, spirits and demons would come and completely destroy everything. Later, the demons and evil spirits became especially rampant, truly helpless. They invited Guru Padmasambhava. The power of Guru Padmasambhava was truly witnessed by everyone, without exception. It's not because we belong to the Nyingma school, whether Nyingma or Gelug, Chinese, Tibetan. For us, these distinctions are really not that important. Any school benefits humanity or is helpful for our own liberation, no difference between teachings. But indeed, looking at human history, a benefactor like Guru Padmasambhava had never appeared in the world before. So even now, many wise and accomplished masters, both in China and abroad, regardless of their school, will almost all say that Padmasambhava, Shantarakshita, truly bestowed immense kindness upon our snowland, Tibet. Because if then they had not set the Dharma, now we are here for all the Buddhists around the world, it would be very difficult to learn such profound Vajrayana teachings. In areas, Buddhism has now entered the age of mere appearances. In name, there are temples and Buddha statues. Within hearts, it is extremely difficult for the true Dharma to truly take root. So I think it's not just in Tibet alone as well. Tibetan Buddhism, the main tradition, and now it is flourishing globally. Moreover, even today, in fact, Buddhism intact and continues to exist on the high plateau of the snowland of Tibet, because this nectar-like Dharma still exists. People from all over the world with various karmic connections, after coming to Tibet to study, have gained benefit in this and future. So as Yeshe Tsogyal said, in the past there was no one like you. Because from the time of the Buddha's appearance up until before Buddhism reached Tibet, although there was the era of King Hatotori, the beginning of Buddhism, then during the reign of King Songtsen Gampo, the basic and foundational supports for the 3 jewels were essentially established. It can be said that true Buddhist centers were founded at that time and so on. But during the reign of King Trisong Detsen, it is indeed quite real. The starting point for the scriptural and realization teachings of Buddhism. This is thanks to Guru Padmasambhava. After that, such an event would not occur again. Up until now, on this land right here, we can use history as evidence. Although there have been many great and remarkable accomplished beings and great teachers and outstanding masters, all of whom have successively appeared, emerging successively in this world, but truly when it really comes to matching Guru Padmasambhava, the reason why we don't say what sect we are from If we look at history, there really is truly no one else comparable. So at that time, what she said was absolutely correct. You have bestowed Dharma practices as nourishing as nectar. Because Guru Padmasambhava, to many people, Yeshe Togyo Dakini, he granted them the necessary empowerments as well as the practices of Vajrayana. Although I am a woman, as I see it, I have no doubts. And in the future, Yeshe Togyo said, practice given. Even though I am a woman, I have no doubts at all. Sentient beings may not be like me. They are really likely to have very serious doubts. They will be indecisive, stubborn, and misunderstand the Dharma. Especially they will slander the unsurpassed Vajrayana teachings. At that time, the survival of sentient beings will become quite difficult, including epidemics, famine, weapons, and wars, such as these. These will occur repeatedly, especially in regions such as China, Tibet, and Mongolia, for example. It's just like destroying a tiny anthill. If you destroy an anthill, destroy the nearby ant nests, all the tiny busy ants come crawling and swarming out everywhere. At that moment, it seems like they have nowhere to go. It's just like our society today. You could say that currently the sentient beings in Tibet, Mongolia, and China, at that time, humanity, there weren't many people. But now it really is the case, just like the destruction of an anthill, they are appearing everywhere. Now, humanity reproduces rapidly. That's what it means. At this particular time in history, it will truly be the moment when the people of Tibet experience suffering and hardship. It's a kind of prophecy for the future. If Guru Rinpoche, your heart mantra, these words that are not promoted, sentient beings will grow more barbaric, wrong views worsen. There will be more and more people criticizing the Vajrayana teachings. And because of the negative karma created by these actions, as a result, various disasters like war and famine will be frequent. At that time, in reality, many sentient beings may, in fact, be truly pitiful. Don't know sentient beings. A couple of days ago, there was a wildfire in Hawaii, and now it's said that over 1,000 people are missing or unaccounted for, and more than 100 people have died. But basically, the rest are essentially already dead. This forest fire, even now, it still hasn't been properly or completely extinguished. It quietly lingers. There are also many different explanations about this. In Canada and elsewhere, the suffering of sentient beings, one moment, floods here are drowning, wildfires devastate many lives over there. In some places, there is war, causing many sentient beings to be unsafe, often deeply unhappy and in pain. So in times like these, it is truly the time now for all sentient beings to suffer, including the current weather conditions. Really does feel just a bit different from before. When the sun is hot, it feels like being grilled, extremely scorching. Sit under the sun briefly, feel uneasy a half day. Sometimes when we talk about relaxing by the riverbank, relaxing riverside fits. But after you come back, sometimes it really feels like you've been constantly criticized all day long. Your whole entire body absolutely aches, feel it. Summers like this too, it starts to rain. And when it rains, it feels as if the sky has split open all at once, like there's a hole torn right through it. It's also extremely severe. So now, both inside and out, when we observe multiple scenes, whether it's the weather or the troubles in people's hearts or the frequent occurrence of all kinds of external events, actually, on one hand, it seems like, wow, at this moment, we truly have happiness in a moderately prosperous society indeed. And we keep hearing all kinds of positive slogans. But on the other hand, there are also many cries of pain and suffering, which we can constantly feel as well. So I think, as Yeshe Tsogyal also said, there will inevitably be such a moment in the future at some point. And of course, as always, we also advise everyone what to do about the future. People go everywhere to have their fortunes told, get divinations, or look into round mirrors. As for our institute now, I want to remind everyone and express the hope that recently our institute's head mentioned this in meeting. Listening, contemplation, practice, it's not a fortune-telling place, nor is it really a place for divination. So it seems that some of us, even if we burn our mouths drinking hot water, we even feel the need to get a divination about it. If they have a nightmare at night, they feel the need to analyze this and that. In this area, people near Seda who were not mirror diviners have become mirror diviners. People who were not fortune tellers or diviners before. Now, especially in our Shangmozhou area, there are a few individuals who have often been given such titles by others, those with fame, wealth, or status, often some of whom I personally and honestly don't really believe in. So we really hope that if you genuinely study and reflect here, the Institute has, including when His Holiness was alive, divination, fortune telling, and claims of supernatural powers. These people are strictly targeted. So within our institute, there are a few individuals, people not studying, reflecting. Even students can register in the class and then after leaving, go everywhere seeking alms and go around making things, making statues or building, using these as excuses. Many of these deceitful behaviors, starting from this year, we are not talking about it. We will be implementing some reforms, whether someone is Tibetan or Han. If you are staying at the Institute, do not engage in these activities. You should just stick to study and contemplation. If you insist on doing these things, leave the Institute. We have also been discussing this over the past couple of days, specifically how to implement it. Our relevant, responsible personnel will, when the time comes, devise more detailed enforcement methods. Otherwise, after His Holiness's parinirvana, future gradually, because they are foolish people, I like doing fortune telling almost every single day, just about. Some people are so busy with this every day that they can't even keep up. So in our institute, actually, this is the spiritual power spoken by the Dakini. That is the spiritual powers spoken by the earth Dakini. Oh, that one is a fortune teller. These kinds of habits have never been something we praise. If you insist on doing this kind of work, not doing divination, but you are with lamas who do divination, constantly just following them around and talking about it everywhere. If people want to stay in the institute, stay, listen, reflect, practice teachings. If you can't do that, you cannot join institute classes. Even if on the surface you sign up now, classes, these people are not listening, contemplating, or practicing. Some of them have motives and different agendas. Surely everyone should have noticed this. So these things really shouldn't have to be mentioned here at all. But I still need to say something about it, thinking back on it now. Because Dakini Yeshe Togyo also said, when sentient beings suffer, if you don't listen, contemplate, practice, and instead spend all day saying, now the final era is about to arrive. When humanity is destroyed, we shouldn't talk much about it. Humanity's destruction. Some disasters or disasters next year, if you say this, you might face all sorts of troubles. Many people who often simply talk about these things now faced issues, and in the past everyone has heard about this, right? So we should be mindful of this ourselves. What I really mean to say is, if you have made mistakes in the past but change from now on, from today, you should study, reflect, and practice. If you haven't committed any particularly serious mistakes in the past, we can give you a chance. But starting now, if you keep acting this way, then you must be strictly punished, let's put it that way. At the very least, in our institute, people like this cannot be allowed to stay. Otherwise, our institute won't resemble a Buddhist academy at all and will turn into a superstitious, mystical place. Sometimes, quite often, later, when chatting after meals, they'll say, I consulted a living Buddha, Guru Fortune. These foolish people do this daily. Didn't I mention this? Even if they burn with hot water, they want to divine why. Had nightmare yesterday, why? I tripped while walking down the stairs. After tripping, they ask why. My stomach hurts. I need to do a divination. I've had 2 major surgeries. I didn't divine, I just recited sutras. bind, read sutras. But if I want to do it or not, I don't have, if the divination said I couldn't do it, and then during my routine medical checkup, I clearly saw a tumor, then I would feel conflicted. So for some things, I do believe in them. I've translated Manjushri divinations and Avalokiteshvara divinations, but in principle, well, we simply can't live every day in a world of fortune telling. Otherwise, here, there are many skilled people here. Some people here nowadays, I've heard, aren't even true Yuan Guang masters at all, but they simply sealed him just like that. Actually, the Yuan Guang master, I've written about it in related books, but there are requirements for Dharma characteristic. It's not like anyone who picks up a mirror can become one. So in the end, a lot of people, in fact, use this to make money, and situations happen. So in this respect, you really should be careful. You also really shouldn't spend all of your valuable time just seeking this or that. That's really not very reasonable. Next, it says to us quite clearly, Shi Tsogyal asks Rin, you have taught many ways to reverse adversity, but in the future, people won't have the leisure to practice these methods. Even those who want to practice will often face many obstacles. That is to say, although you, Guru Rinpoche, such as Vajra and wrathful Guru Rinpoche practices, and many broad sadhanas for reversing obstacles, in future, sentient beings will be very busy, just like in our present era, extremely, extremely busy, with no time to practice. Even though a few individuals may want to practice, they will likely encounter many obstacles during the process. Moreover, sentient beings have different aspirations, lacking resources, not following the Dharma, in the decline. There are many different kinds of obstacles to practice. What sort of obstacles are there? For example, if we want to practice the Dharma, sectarianism or ethnicity, people's minds are not in harmony with each other. If one wants to practice, one can't afford basfe, lacking resources, conduct, not Dharma, can't see through. There are many different issues like these, hard to endure tough times. At that time, only relying on Guru Rinpoche's practices and heart mantra, what benefits does it have? For the sake of future beings with limited wisdom, I request you to explain. At that time, she asked such a question, especially since there are so many obstacles to practice in all areas and resources are insufficient. Things aren't going Dharma-wise. At such a time, let's see, surely the Guru Rinpoche mantra alone must have great power. But specifically, what kind of merits and benefits does it have? Guru Rinpoche, I ask for the sake of these pitiable beings and speak very carefully. She simply made such a request. Then Guru Rinpoche replied with great wisdom and compassion. After that, Guru Rinpoche said, "Oh, dear woman of faith, what you have stated is, without a doubt, completely and absolutely true. Indeed, Yeshe Tsogyal, the Dakini, has great faith. This faith is a tremendous treasure. If a person has faith, there is hope for them to study Buddhism. If someone lacks faith, even if they possess wisdom and pure discipline, all virtues, without faith, it is very difficult to even enter the path, let alone enter the profound gates." So, as someone who holds strong personal beliefs and values rooted in faith, I want to emphasize that what you have just said is absolutely correct. Your statement truly, in the future, at such times, there is lasting benefit. There are many pith instructions. Many of them have already been hidden as earth termas, water terma, such as rock terma, as well as sky termas and so on. They have been carefully concealed in several different places, already hidden in these locations. If hidden in the ground, they are called earth termas. Sometimes, for example, inside caves, like Guru Padmasambhava's, including ritual text of the Dharma King, deep inside the cave, such as the Manjushri Silent Retreat Sadhana, Vajra Sadhana. Many of these were retrieved from caves by archaeologists. Places without rocks are called earth termas, water termas. As for water termas, our Vajrasattva practices, there are later videos about it, where the precious Guru retrieved it from the beautiful, majestic and sacred Lake Liambao. There are also rock treasures, rock terma words. His Holiness Jigme Phunsok's Kurukula Sadhana. Many of them were also retrieved at Khenpo. These were found in caves and rocks. There are space termers. Space termers appear in the Guru biographies. We have witnessed them as well. When we were at Gugu Sacred Mountain, the Guru took a ceremonial khata, waved it in the air, and barely we saw a small Buddha statue in his hand, about just an inch tall. It definitely wasn't there in the morning, I was absolutely sure, since I was there too at that particular time. Because when we went there at that particular time, well, you know, the Guru was dressed rather lightly, nothing in chest or pockets. Then, as we were walking along the road, we suddenly saw, it seemed like he just waved his hand in the air. As Khenpo Deba was present, it was during a tsok offering at Larunga. The Dharma king took a khata and caught it in the air. The Buddha statue had gently descended from the sky. The Dharma king caught it, this occurred. All kinds of terma treasures. Actually, these terma treasures, in fact, are quite remarkable, are mainly from the Great Turtons. Of course, there are some Buddha statues. These real objects which exist in the real world are carefully hidden in a certain place. And now, terma, written indication words and blank lines appear. These words and Dakini script don't present ritual, only scattered individual words appear, relying on the right conditions. You slowly begin to recall it. For example, sometimes we make a rough record of something. Sometimes some of the translators for the Guru may not write down every word, but they will note down the key words. Then using these key words, he put forward the principle he had just explained and recite everything that was said. So in most cases, it usually means blank line text, and we don't understand symbolic script. It looks incomprehensible to us, but it serves representation. A single symbol can stand for a great deal of content. So those later treasure revealers, for example, if one is a very skilled writer, the liturgies in his treasures, when recited, sound beautiful. The rituals are excellent. But if the treasure revealer is not a good writer, even though he is a treasure revealer, the liturgies he carefully writes are not that great either. What we call good or bad writing style, for example, if I want to translate Guru Rinpoche heart mantra, see Chinese text. After seeing the Chinese, I translate it into Tibetan. If Tibetan text translate to Chinese, if my writing skills are good, well, translate it. If my writing skills aren't that great, even if I translate it, I can translate it, but the translation may not be that good. Same principle for revealers. In the past, our revered Guru said, he said, one treasure revealer had great writing. His terma texts, especially the renowned Karma Lingpa was a treasure revealer. His liberation through hearing teachings, when recited, everyone, for example, when we recite the liberation through hearing, peaceful, wrathful deities. The audience below can understand it, find a language beautiful and moving. There is differences. So this terma is indeed a terma method, which means it is a teaching that was intentionally hidden, and we shouldn't think these terma teachings are incredibly powerful, nor should we assume that just because someone is a treasure revealer, they must be extraordinary like a true Buddha. For treasure revealers, genuine fourth treasure revealers, Mipham Rinpoche examined the treasure revealers, wrote articles. When I arrived, I would read these every single day in the Adobe house, just quietly, Cheitheng Nobu, and the clarifying jewel. He specifically observed a treasure revealer should know this. Within the terma teachings themselves, actually, there are all kinds of various signs and indications. Some treasure revealers, and the termas that they reveal in particular, beneficial to beings. For some, due to the state of their body's channels and chakras, and because of their wisdom, even though they manifest various terma teachings, it doesn't affect beings. There is no harm, no downside. There are some influenced by demons. The term is revealed by such people, in particular, harm to sentient beings. Therefore, all of us should not Especially nowadays, among our Dharma friends here, it is particularly easy to blindly rely on someone without being able to discern ourselves. Let me put it this way. After I spoke about Dharma, many so-called true and false, true and fake Dharma masters went to Han to spread ideas. Later on, all kinds of situations also emerged. Because if they are fake Turton, their true colors will definitely start to gradually show. After some time has gradually passed, genuine and fake are clear. So about Dharma masters, everyone should. It's just like how at first we didn't really know what a living Buddha was, and only later did we realize there are real and fake living Buddhas. With Dharma masters, same case as Dharma masters, just because someone else says or writes a biography, he is master of treasure, doesn't mean they're Dharma master. If it's 100 Turton masters, true Dharma masters are said to be their reincarnations, but whether their reincarnation has been recognized, officially recognized, not certain. Some tulku certificate. Nowadays, tulku certificates, even those recognized by the government, with the seals of the Provincial Buddhist Association and the State Administration for Religious Affairs, their current status as of now is recognized by worldly regulations. The monastery acknowledges it, and so do the common people. But when it comes to certain aspects of the Dharma, some of them may not actually be true reincarnations. This is also a topic of much debate in today's society. All know, even though they have the certificate, they are not genuine in reality. Because of their behavior, let alone being a great monk, they don't even measure up to an ordinary person. So when I speak here, sometimes I talk about others, but in reality, I hope that the Buddhists here don't blind when you first develop faith, that faith is something many will take advantage of. So I think these people are actually really quite pitiable. If you can truly observe with wisdom and clarity and rely on a teacher yourself, we don't have any jealousy, as in the Enlightenment Sutra, wealth benefactors, it's fine whether you have it. After all, it doesn't belong to you. We're not doing this for the sake of donors or believers. Stop. But from the bottom of my heart, that many people really just don't know how to properly discern things or even recognize them. They end up doing many things blindly without really thinking them through, and in the end, deceiving themselves and others, which is meaningless. So when we talk about the Dharma, many of us do have faith, but truly lack wisdom. This faith is often exploited by others, and in the end, one can't help but develop wrong views. This exists. So it's the same with the truly great Turtons, the renowned treasure revealers. Guru Padmasambhava was in these places. He concealed a great number of spiritual practice liturgies. But in degenerate times, indeed, it is truly extremely difficult for the predestined people to gather together. Sentient beings' merit is exhausted. Although Guru Rinpoche hid many treasures back then, in reality, for later times, it is difficult for necessary conditions. It's just like with our precious master as well. Many necessary conditions weren't met. In his lifetime, he did not become a great Turton. Many Dharma treasure teachings were, in fact, often not revealed. This is a sign that the merit of sentient beings is exhausted. However, at this particular time, Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum, if perhaps this mantra, whether in a holy place or a temple, on the summit of a high mountain, or by the banks of a great river, or headwaters or ends of valleys where malevolent spirits and demons are, in these places. That is to say, if Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra, whether in the city, in a mountain cave, on a mountain, or on mountain peaks and slopes where spirits are especially active, these places do indeed have mantra practitioners bound by samaya, monastics upholding pure discipline, laymen who possess strong faith, and women who embody the qualities of the Dharma. If they recite it with a vast and altruistic motivation, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of times, and so on, then in that case, the merit and power generated are truly inconceivable. So, as mentioned earlier, this Guru Rinpoche heart mantra can be recited anywhere, whether you're in a car, or at work, or at home, or perhaps recited anywhere. Reciters also, mantra users, monks, lay followers can, and women who are qualified. If specific words, because in Vajrayana, women's qualities are described, including the quality of faith and wisdom, or the quality of discipline, the quality of character, as long as one possesses these qualities, namely women who have certain virtuous qualities, if they recite the Guru Rinpoche heart mantra, she has absolutely incredible merit and remarkable, undeniable power. What kind of merit is this? As I've already mentioned earlier in this discussion, and as was previously stated, reciting it 100,000, 1 million, the merit is truly beyond imagination. If one recites it in this way, what kind of effect does it have? Mainly, it can dispel all kinds of various types of unwanted or harmful things, epidemics, severe famine, deadly weapons, and devastating war, as well as natural disasters, ominous signs, misfortune, and so on. Many places are experiencing things, so we really do need to recite the Guru Rinpoche heart mantra. If you look at the various news reports nowadays, it truly is a time when humanity is deeply suffering. If we recite this way, it will bring favorable weather, and everywhere, all around, will become truly auspicious in this life, the next life. And the bardo, for those of the highest capacity, they can see Guru Rinpoche. If a person of medium aptitude sees, and for those of lesser capacity, they will see him in their dreams. In this way, one will perfect the 5 paths and 10 bhumas. Ultimately, in Guru Rinpoche's pure land, one becomes a male or female Vidyadhara awareness holder. Reciting Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra is truly very important. There is an old, well-known story from Tibet about a wealthy, prominent family who had a household servant. This servant would frequently leave the house and go out into the fields to tend to and look after the cattle as well as the sheep, making sure they were properly herded and cared for each day. This family frequently invited great masters to their home, and they received empowerments and Dharma teachings. One time, it was said that their family invited a truly remarkable Dzogchen master. It was said to be a certain Lama, second incarnation, a great Dzogchen patriarch. Then, this servant, once, after carefully finishing his herding duties, perhaps maybe leave it to someone else to take care of him. Then he went to look for the master himself in person. When he went there, the master at that time was living in a tent. What do you need when you come? He said, I need a Dzogchen. He's a Dzogchen master. He also doesn't really know what Dzogchen actually is. In fact, he just said, I want Dzogchen. Master asked, what do you really need? He said he needs Dzogchen, wants to know it. Master said, come here. I'll teach you Dzogchen, then recited it once by his ear. Om Ahom Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hom. He recited the Guru Rinpoche heart mantra. He told him to repeat it. After he clearly learned this, herding livestock or working, he would even start reciting it sometimes out loud while sleeping. So this herdsman, locally he was called Benza Guru. His name, later many people refer to him as Benza Guru. One day he told his master, tonight I am going to meet Guru Rinpoche. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you for always being there and taking such wonderful care of me. The next day, a rainbow appeared over his tent. He should be someone who attained realization and directly met Guru Rinpoche. People remain in Tibet. So from this, we can also see that ununderstood things. Talked about Avalokiteshvara mantra every day. Om Ahang Benza Guru Padma Siddhi Hum. And keep chanting like this. Merit is like Avalokiteshvara mantra. There are many mantras, as long as we understand their meaning, they are very meaningful and bring immense merit. Moreover, in this very life, if our practice can truly be carried through from beginning to end, praying to Guru Rinpoche is very important. Every year, I also encourage everyone to recite the wrathful Guru Rinpoche mantra and Guru Rinpoche mantra. This has been the case for the past 20 years. We have studied things related to Guru Rinpoche, commentary on seven-line prayer, as well as other additional related merits. So we hope everyone can recite the Guru Rinpoche mantra. When reciting, pray to Guru Rinpoche with devotion. It's best to have thankas, images of Guru Padmasambhava. Place these in front of you now and then recite in this particular mindful way. It is truly very meaningful for your practice. The Guru Rinpoche mantra, if you recite it 100 times, will also really make others like you. It seems that, as we often say, people will feel joy upon seeing you. It's not like after seeing you, they feel a bad vibe. When I meet this person, I don't want to talk to him, let alone even try to get any sleep in the same room with you, or eating together or sitting together, awkward. Some people just can't get along with anyone. No one likes them. When this person arrives, everyone just doesn't like them, no joy upon seeing them, that kind of thing. So generally speaking, if you want to be liked by many people in this life and the next, first recite the Guru Rinpoche mantra repeatedly. Thus, even without effort, you will receive some food, wealth, and enjoyments. Sometimes some people really struggle to make ends meet. Money is tight right now. Rinpoche mantra. In Guru Rinpoche's termas, there are many, many wealth deities, many gods of wealth, wealth gods through identity, inseparable from Rinpoche. If you recite it thousands or even tens of thousands of times, what can you actually accomplish right now? You can subdue minds of others and also attain unobstructed accomplishment and power. If we truly want to influence and meaningfully bless others, you should recite more mantras. Some of us who have just taken refuge or just become monastics really want to study the 5 great treatises well. Learn 5 great treatises. Studying the 5 great treatises matters. But if our minds are not in harmony with the Guru, not connected with the Yidam, not Dharma protectors, it seems like having knowledge alone without practice. It's hard to spread the Dharma and help others. It's very hard and at times quite difficult to control your own mind. If you can't tame your mind, no matter how much you study, isn't that just like the monk Sunakshatra means less? Isn't that just like the monk Sunakshatra? It's nothing special. The most important thing is to connect with the Guru through sincere devotion. Connect with the Yidam. If you can connect with Guru Rinpoche, his blessings will join your own mind, and your mind will feel completely nourished. Everything needs Buddha Dharma. No matter what you do, whether in hardship or luck, make them part of the path. Even something as simple as just a joke you make, many people genuinely enjoy it and can accept it. All beings benefit. So for many of us, theoretical research and verification are truly and certainly necessary. If we don't have this in today's era, in our modern times, you depend on faith and there are difficulties. But if you only rely on theory, if you yourself don't have any real substance, I was just completely wearing an outer red or yellow robe, but inside you are full of afflictions, lacking qualities, let alone spreading the Dharma and benefiting beings. Complete one's practice from beginning to end would be very difficult. So perhaps we ourselves really need to put in some effort. At the very least, we should be in harmony with the Yidam and the Guru. Reaching this point is truly important. If you recite many times, you can harmonize the 3 realms and successfully subdue all of the 3 existences. 3 realms, 3 existences, same, the form realm, formless realm, and desire realm. But one means harmony and gaining freedom. One is to just subdue. You can command spirits and deities, unobstructed, pacifying, enriching, magnetizing, and subjugating. You can fulfill all the wishes of sentient beings and grant their desires. There are many notable merits and significant benefits to this. So each and every single year, we always, in the autumn at the Institute, we transmit esoteric teachings. I taught the secret method that day. in this year's plan, teach the second half of entering the Mahayana. Later, on seeing it, the compilers couldn't join notes. In addition, there are basically just more than 20 classes left, which seems a bit difficult. So half this year and half next year, finish entering the Mahayana treatise 3 years. In theory, there shouldn't be any problem. Then, on top of this, let them talk about some things. Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra or prayers like that. In this way, perhaps during our retreat period, which is also very important, at the team, we hope many Khenpos and Khenmos and other such people, just at that time, it seemed like retreat was specifically for traveling, looking for gurus, looking for that. This is a pity. Whether there will be such an opportunity in the future is hard to say, as it is difficult to predict what may happen or change in the coming years. A lot of people really like to go out, but many of our Buddhists have unstable minds. I'm not the one standing in your way, but I was once like that too. Have spent 20 years in presence of my guru. Empowerments were present and many Dharma transmissions. I wanted to go surrounding places, to listen to teaching with Khenpo Kucha. The teachings given by Khenpo Dewa in our monastery. A day, someone asked me, you got lessons from Khenpo Dewa. So why is it that you don't have many lineages now? Wish-fulfilling treasure commentary, the commentary on the Treasury of Peace Instructions by Khenpo Dewa, the Dharma commentary. It seems there are 3 or 4 major treatises that I requested, but I don't have a single lineage. They said, since you trust the guru, make a request. Why tradition? I said I was leading Han Chinese practitioners here, worried they might be influenced and run off on their own, relying on the teacher. Although people recited lineages, gave empowerments, varieties, I still felt my mind needed to be a bit more stable. Don't just hear a floating. So actually, during my own academic journey, even with the teachers I had the most faith in, the ones I truly trusted, when they were giving teachings nearby, I couldn't attend. I wanted to go, but couldn't teach in classes. If I teach, I'll miss a day. It could potentially have quite a significant impact here. So I very much hope, even though many people might be on retreat during that time, they would often go traveling, often go on pilgrimages, often visit teachers. Then it had been some of us were like that. But I think unless you really have health issues and need to get checked, those situations are unavoidable. Other than that, with many great masters, retreating with top experts, praying together, magnetic field, blessings, it should be unique. Last year, in a pandemic outbreak, I also couldn't go out. It wasn't because I was steady at all, but I had no choice. We recited Guru Rinpoche's mantra, experience, profound. Larunga's blessings proved immense. I sincerely hope that with our recitation, recite a bit more. And pray more to Guru Padmasambhava. Add this too, that if one can recite 30 million or even 70 million times, one will be inseparable from the Buddhas of the 3 times, will be one with me, Guru Padmasambhava, all gods, Nagas, 8 classes. They follow every word and praise them all. And all the many different activities that have been entrusted to you will be done. Guru Rinpoche mantra. I remember preliminary practices said this, perfected 10 million times. Others are all 100,000 times, 100,000 times. But when it comes to Guru Yoga, Patu Rinpoche said to complete 10 million times. I remember in the words of my perfect teacher, one is to complete the Guru Rinpoche mantra 10 million times. As for the Vajra 100 syllable mantra, his own guru and many other masters, I read numbers over 10 million. So these masters of the past were different from us.
recite 100 times. I was thinking about it today as well. If I recite 100,000 times before this year's ceremony for would I actually be able to truly finish it or complete it all the way through? I hesitated for a long time about whether to sign up or not. You are the same way. True. Sometimes when we are doing virtuous deeds, our strength is still rather weak. Back when I finished translating the first volume of the Treasury of Wish-Fulfilling Jewels, I had completed it. Wangde Lama from our monastery came to see me. He said, well then, starting from today, I plan to recite 100 million in total Amitabha mantras. Please, would you kindly bless my mala for me? I asked, how many mantras you recited? He said, in the past, in front of Lama Lakshu Khenpo, in the 1870s of the last century, made a vow in front of Khenpo Lakshu, recite 100 million Avalokiteshvara mantras and 10 million Manjushri mantras. I completed them after finishing the recitation. In front of my Guru, His Holiness, 100 million Avalokiteshvara mantras and 10 million Manjushri mantras. Finished recitations. Then, in between, I recited 1 million Vajra mantras and 1 million 7-line prayers. I finished these in my Guru's works, the Dharma King Rinpoche. Mantras of these deities are not many. He said, those are all very easy. 700 or 800K. These are all relatively simple. Then now I have started recite 100 million times Om Ahong Deva. At that time, I still felt, because he and I are about the same age, he was not even 70 years old, around that time, especially in 2020, even more so at that time. So I see that we are actually quite literally, basically the same age, living in this world in the same way. But some people reciting deities mantra, billions, millions. For us, even if we recite 100,000 or a million times, we worry about it for quite a long time. But if we truly actually do recite Guru Rinpoche's mantra well, with focus and devotion, then we will definitely connect with Guru Rinpoche without a doubt. If you are truly in harmony with Guru Rinpoche, then you will definitely accomplish all endeavors. At that time, whether it's the worldly gods and nagas, Buddhas, bodhisattva, bless you, and may you often be granted this kind of strength. Our humans, some people can do anything, others can't achieve anything. Small things face many obstacles. What is the reason for this? Buddha Bodhisattva blessing, as well as the support and protection from the divine gods and nagas, there is definitely a connection here. Now, regarding those of superior faculties, if you recite these powerful mantras, repeating them tens of millions of times over and over again, that would probably be the best, really. Let's take a look together at what's next. Lay and monastic people, some recited Guru Rinpoche's mantra 10 million, reciting 100 million. There are some too. Actually, in Tibet, many people recite mantras well. They truly are very adept at mantra recitation. When reciting Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra, it's not very difficult. Those with superior faculties attain rainbow body now. Those of medium faculties recognize mother and child luminosity at the time of death. What we talk about in Dzogchen, child luminosity, is luminosity, you know. And the mother luminosity is the primordial ground luminosity that appears. When these two unite, one attains realization instantly. Those of lesser faculties meet Guru Padmasambhava face to face in the bardo. They encounter Guru Rinpoche face to face and manifest liberation in their own ground. They are reborn in the copper-colored mountain Pure Land or the Western Paradise. They benefit boundless sentient beings. So I think that this time everyone should probably perhaps make aspirations unless special. Our study, contemplation and practice are very intense. Now, it is only 3 months until His Holiness's Parinirvana ceremony. Within these 3 months, being almost 3 months, I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's about that. So in this case, over 100 days. You don't need to recite a lot each day, maybe 5,000 times a day, let's see. Not sure how it will go, but in any case, let's all do our best. There are many people from Tibet and the Han regions who signed up together. The merit from this is tremendous. So we often think in our daily lives, we are like a drop in the ocean. But if so many people all come together, many people are signing up from Tibet. So through this opportunity, we also want everyone to connect online. It's inconvenient, but in private, future activities will be done privately. But if there are certain aspects, let's see how things go. For now, if many people recite more than 100,000 times, many people praying to Guru Rinpoche may be obstacles. Now, whether they are hindrances in our practice or the numerous different disasters that occur in our world, there may also be many new turning points. I think everyone should recite and repeat more, especially on a daily basis. Guru Rinpoche mantra. We meant to talk, but today my tongue feels odd. Let's stop here for now. This was about Guru Rinpoche's mantra merits. Next, we'll explain the literal meaning of Guru Rinpoche's mantra. We'll cover that in the next class. That's all for today, really.
Bandara